Hey everybody, Forrest Outdoors here, coming to you from the cold garage here in Missouri. Thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing. If you're not a subscriber, hit that bottom button below and let's get this show underway. Last video, you guys saw me do a breakdown of how I got started into tournament fishing, what club I did, what costs were associated with that club. Now, I'm gonna take it to the next level. Let's say you want to start doing regional tournaments, BFL, solos, webs, whatever that circuit is for you. I want to break that down to show you what that cost is associated with those tournaments. So y'all stay tuned and check it out. All right, so as I mentioned last video, I showed you how we break down entry-level fishing, what the cost associated is with it, what your potential earnings are gonna be, and what you need to fish. So let's assume you're winning 2 tournaments a year out of that club. You've maybe won an Angler of the Year. You've started to build a reputation. This takes aside, what if you're doing some YouTube stuff to help populate that, some Facebook, some social media. Those are just kind of kickers on the backside that really help you out with establishing your brand, your name, and growing your potential for sponsors that are out there. I'll get into that in a different segment because I've got some really cool ideas on how to make that work. But let's just say you want to get out of that club. You've got pocket change of about $1,000. So let's say average tournament you fished was $500 cost. Maybe you won $600, $650 per tournament. Maybe that's $200, $300, $400. Mom and dad gave you some gas cards and you got some favors and dad filled up the tank for you a couple times. So you got some money in your pocket. Let's just go ahead and say you got, $300, $400 in your pocket, cash in hand to go play. Next level, that was freshman team. Now we're gonna move it up to the JV team. And once again, you gotta pay to play. So those tournaments were $60 in the hog haulers. Let's bump it up to the next level. Let's say that's a BFL. Let's say that's a web outdoors. Let's say, whatever it may be. That next tournament range is probably gonna be $200 at least. We're gonna go conservatively and say, kind of that sophomore team, that junior varsity is gonna be that $200 to $250 level. There may or may not be a membership fee. I'm gonna assume that there is, and it's probably gonna get bumped up a little bit. So first things first is the membership fee, right off the bat, $50. Okay, got it. I remember that from last year, no big deal. Tournament fees, probably not gonna be doing 8 to 10 tournaments. Most of these circuits are doing 3, 4 to 5 per year. This could be, also Ozark Mountain Team Trail. There's a lot of different options at this level. So $200 to $250 per tournament, okay? Right off the bat, we're gonna break this down just into one. First one of the year is gonna be on Lake of the Ozarks. Great. All right, now I gotta get lodging. Lodging is probably gonna be the same as last year. I wanna do 3 days. I wanna practice 1 day. I don't know, some of these tournaments have 2-day events, not very many. Most of them are just Sunday. So that means I can practice again on Saturday, but I've got 1 shot to win this deal. So, right off the bat, that's gonna be $300 for lodging, give or take a little bit. So now, we're getting into the travel expenses. Travel is gonna be the same. I'm going to Lake of the Ozarks. I'm going to, coming from St. Louis, $20, $30 to fill up the truck, another, 20 gallons to fill up the boat. So right there, let's go $150 to do both. That hasn't really changed. The only thing that's changed in this area has been the tournament fee. That's a $150 difference in tournament participation. Okay, putting gear, clothing, everything else aside, we're right back where we were last year, but I think we're up to like $600 or $700. That's kind of that next level. So, all right, maybe you're fishing against 50 guys. Maybe you're fishing against 80. So now we're doubling the field that we're fishing against. Our odds have just dropped and we're competing against probably a higher caliber angler. Some of the anglers maybe that you fished against in hog haulers, maybe they came over and are start doing this. Maybe they do it on the side and like doing both because, you know, they love fishing that much. They want to get into every tournament that they can. And that happens. Maybe you got some friends that you've already met that you can pair up with and cheapen cost or share practice information with. So if you didn't do well in hog haulers and jumped up too early, you probably won't do well since you're fishing some of the same lakes. You'll be fishing heavily on Lake of the Ozarks. You'll be fishing heavily on Table Rock Lake with a lot of the areas around here. So just with your cost here of about $7 to $7.50 right off the bat, let's say you do well. Let's say you get in a top 10. It's very possible. When I made the jump from hog haulers to the next level, my first 2 years, I finished 2 events in the top 10. And one of those was in the top 5. So that top 5 finish netted me about $1,200. Top 10 might get you $300, $400, just depending on how the payout structure is. And it's tough. You're fishing against a high quality set of anglers. So let's just say you do the same thing. You finish top 5 and a top 10. Let's say you net 15, you know, let's split the difference. You net $700, break even. That's assuming one tournament, one pay, one cost. Now, once again, all of those costs, depending on what type of tournament you do a Web Outdoors, you do a solo pro, you don't have a co-angler to share that cost with. That cost is what you're paying out of pocket, and you just have to get creative if you want to decrease that cost and save some money. If you're doing an Ozark Mountain Team Trail, if you're doing a BFL, you will have a partner that you can share costs with. BFL is probably going to be a little unique as not all co-anglers are the same. But Ozark Mountain Team Trail, you're going to have a partner that you're fishing with every time. So that's going to cut your cost in half, but that also cuts your winnings in half. So keep that in mind when you're doing this. That's a cost associated with fishing kind of at that JV level, that BFL, that solo pro, that Ozark Mountain Team Trail. I kind of view that as, you know, that regional type of fishing. That's not assuming the boat that you have. That's not assuming the motor. That's not assuming any type of maintenance cost or upkeep or repairs. So that's additional pieces that go with it. Your monthly payment, your insurance payment, keep that in mind. Also, you're not winning any contingencies yet. You're not with a Nitro or a Mercury or a Lowrance, or you might be with a TH Marine. You could potentially be with Ranger and Ranger Cup, but right now you're not getting any of that contingency. So if you finish in the top 5, you're leaving money on the table because you could be getting, you know, $500 from Mercury, $500 from Nitro, $500 from Lear, different contingency programs that if you are the top winning angler, top angler within that group who's part of that contingency program, you could get paid money. My Toyota Owners Tournament that I fished, because I fished out of a Nitro, a Mercury, a Lowrance, and a Lear cap, I got a nice paycheck on the side because of my association and support and contingency with those companies. So that is something you need to start keeping in mind when you start moving up to this next level of tournament. I hope you enjoyed this one. I've always wanted to share this with you. Didn't know really how to break it down, but I'm glad I finally did. So hopefully this information here has been extremely helpful to you. Next segment, I'm gonna break out the big dogs. We're gonna go Costas, we're gonna go maybe the Elite Tour, BASS. MLF is in a whole different world that it's evolving as we know it, so I don't have a whole lot of information to go on, but at least this helps educate you on stuff to think about when you wanna get into tournament fishing. It is a blast. It is so much fun. But once again, you have to pay to play, and that's the tough part about it. So hopefully everybody's enjoyed this video. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. Hit that like button, please. And if you have any questions, go down, hit that comment below. I am happy to help you with any information that I can share with you. Y'all take care. Y'all have a good one. And until next time, good fishing.